Speaking of Ohio State, they stayed the course, which is a positive because I keep being told, start with yes. It's a positive. The 5th-ranked Buckeyes were 8-1, staved off a late charge by Nebraska, who's 3-7, 26-17 in Lincoln. Now, here's the take on all of this. If beating Nebraska 26-17 is a good win for Ohio State, do not tell me Oklahoma beating Nebraska 23-16 is a bad win. Now, I am of the opinion that Nebraska is a very good football team. It's one of these eye test teams that y'all really love because 3-7 doesn't really hit the mark when we're talking about how good Nebraska has been. They have played 2 top 5 teams at the time, right? Really. Programs to, single digits here? We're talking about barely losing to a Michigan, barely losing to Michigan State, barely losing to Oklahoma, barely losing to Ohio State. All losses, and I get that, right? And I'm in the win or lose type of category when we talk about this stuff. But Adrian Martinez was good. CJ Shroud was good. Travion Henderson was not as good as we are used to, but he was good, right? This was a very good football game. But what it came down to for me is Ohio State's kicker, Noah Ruggles, went 4 for 4 on field goals. Nebraska's kicker, 1 for 3. And that's the difference. Now, you can sit here and try to tell me that the margin is larger than those field goals, but I would tell you, please, think with your mind for a little bit. Do some of this Aaron Rodgers critical thinking, okay? If you score points, you dictate a different situation. If they score a field goal, they get to kick off, and Ohio State might start from the 25. If they don't score the field goal, you get the ball where they attempted the kick. Like, it's not rocket science on any of this, man. The score dictates how you play the next possession. And if Ohio State knows that it's got a 6-point lead, where if Nebraska's kicker had made 2 field goals, it's tied up at 23, we're talking about a totally different set of circumstances. And Nebraska very much being in a position to try to knock off a top 5 Ohio State team. Okay? What I'm telling you, Nebraska fans, is you're good. What I'm telling Ohio State fans is you have to be scared. You have to be scared because your next opponent is the giant-killing Purdue Boilermakers. Okay? Aiden O'Connell is absolutely capable of dicing you up, as is David Bell in your secondary. Jeff Brom is going to duct tape, glue, rub some spit on his quarterbacks to find one quarterback out of the 3. Aiden O'Connell will throw it, Jack Plummer to run it, and even a little bit of Wildcat thrown in there, right? I also would like to extend a bit of, solace to Ohio State fans. Because as bad as the offense looked at time, Jackson Smith and Jigba kept Jamison Williams off the field last year. Okay? And Williams is the best wide receiver at Alabama today. Jackson Smith and Jigba had a career day. 15 catches for 240 yards and a TD. What I'm saying is, Brian Hartline is really good at his job. So you have Garrett Wilson, who is out for reasons that they did not want to disclose. Didn't play in the game, wasn't in Lincoln, okay? But you still had Chris Olave, who went off, who needs a couple more touchdowns to tie David Boston and then pass him for the most career receiving touchdowns by an Ohio State wide receiver. Also, just another way in which I'm telling y'all, David Boston was Megatron before there was Megatron. But you also are looking at Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's number 3 on that depth chart, right? Most people would tell you Garrett Wilson is a better wide receiver. That's why he's the number 2 on the depth chart. And yet you could still throw the number 1 wide receiver in the class of 2020 in Julian Fleming and the number 1 wide receiver in the class of 2021 in Emeka Egbuka out there if you so chose. And oh, by the way, Marvin Harrison Jr. is there too, okay? You got dudes on offense. But I did want to ponder this question. Did Adrian Martinez outplay CJ Shroud, given what he meant with his legs and his arm for the Nebraska offense? So let's get the box score stuff out of the way right quick. Adrian Martinez was 16 of 31 for 248 with a TD and a pick. Okay? He also led the Huskers in rushing with 51 rush yards on 18 attempts. Okay? CJ Shroud, 36, 54 for 405 with 2 TDs and 2 picks, or as one of my buddies said, that dude puts up the gaudiest statistics without looking like he's doing much of anything for that Ohio State offense, to which I'm going, wait a second. Why are people still coming down on CJ Shroud? You'll know I am a tremendous CJ Shroud fan. I'm a tremendous Travion Henderson fan. I'm a fan of the offense in general. But if you assign the stat line that I just read to you to any other quarterback in football, not named CJ Shroud, not wearing an Ohio State Buckeye uniform, you'd be like, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty stout. What I do take a lot of encouragement from in this is that Ryan Day is not satisfied, okay? He's probably not as upset as many of you are, but some of y'all are a little bit more upset on the regular. But he understands they have not been playing their best football, and yet here they are as a one-loss team with a non-conference loss to the number 4 team in the country. All they got to do is stay the course, win their games, win the Big Ten championship, and then they're in. That's how it feels right now, because they would get to play that Michigan State team that I hope, if there's justice in the world, falls from number 3 after losing to unranked Purdue. But I can never tell with the CFP committee, because who knows? Michigan State picked up their first quality loss today. You know, like Ohio State did in September against Oregon. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 Ranked Show YouTube channel.